is a document called the Presidential Security Directive 11, or PSD 11. This was the Barack Obama administration's plan to use the entirety of the United States government and its capabilities to support the overthrow of friendly allied governments across the Middle East and North Africa, and to replace them with Muslim Brotherhood regimes. Now, this document was published, I shouldn't say published, this document was written, was promulgated in August 2010. It remains classified, so I cannot say that I've ever seen it, and only those with the highest clearances have seen it. But its gist has leaked out over the years, and the general gist of PSD 11 is understood to be the empowerment of the Muslim Brotherhood, especially across North Africa, but also domestically, right here at home in the United States, and the Persian Gulf area, the Middle East heartland, if you will, was to be for the domination by Iran and the Shiites. So there you see a little bit of a trade-off. The Shiites would have the Middle East heartland, the Sunnis would get North Africa. But in any case, the idea was to change governments. The Obama administration, the Clinton Secretary of State Department, were dedicated to changing governments in these areas to give them over to Muslim Brotherhood and jihadist domination. Now, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton at the time planned to use the anticipated transformation of North Africa and the entire region to bolster President Barack Obama's 2012 re-election campaign for president, and also as a platform for her own plans to run for president in 2016. So, when the United States, behind the scenes backing, funding, training, and clandestine weapons flow from Qatar for the Libyan Muslim Brotherhood and its subordinate al-Qaeda militias during the 2011 uprising against Gaddafi, entirely predictably turned Libya into a chaotic, failed state in 2012, the year after, with heavily armed jihadis running amok across the entire country. A cover-up, as you heard both Roger Aronoff and Stephanie Jason talk about, a cover-up was the Obama-Clinton default position. Despite repeated attacks against Western interests, including our own, in Benghazi throughout 2012, repeated pleas, as Stephanie said, dozens and dozens, 100 for Benghazi alone, for more security, for our mission there, they were all refused. It wouldn't do, you see, to let Americans or the world see what a mess Libya was because of the Obama-Clinton PSD 11 policy. Then, things have gone from bad to worse in what used to be called Libya. The country is torn by competing militias, including the Islamic State now, with a presence there. And that has established a very dangerous base of operations in Libya. And yet to date, the Trump administration has not made the decision to support General Khalifa Haftar, who is fighting against the same jihadis that the Obama team tried so hard to empower there in Libya. Nor has President Trump yet agreed to declassify and to release the contents of PSD 11.
A very important topic, and it's on PSD 11. So I have a clicker here. I hope I can get this to work right. PSD 11, Presidential Study Directive 11, was signed by President Obama in August 2010. And I'd like you to pay particular close attention to the dates that I'm going to show you so that you can connect the dots and discover the truth. This presidential directive, which I believe is a treasonous action, empowered the Muslim Brotherhood to organize and lead an Arab Spring that resulted in the chaos that ensued, leading directly to the attack in Benghazi just 2 years later.
Good afternoon, everybody. There are very few moments in our lives where we have the privilege to witness history taking place. This is one of those moments. This is one of those times. The people of Egypt have spoken, their voices have been heard, and Egypt will never be the same. By stepping down, President Mubarak responded to the Egyptian people's hunger for change. But this is not the end of Egypt's transition. It's a beginning.
PSD-11 remains classified to this day, and I encourage all of you to leave here and write to your members of Congress, call them. It must be declassified. President Trump needs to declassify this document. In 2016, Congressman Peter Hoekstra testified before the Homeland Security Committee in a hearing entitled Identifying the Enemy, Radical Islamic Terror. The words that you see there are not my words. These are his words from the testimony before Congress. For the first time since its founding in 1928, the Muslim Brotherhood ran a major country in the Middle East, and Obama and Clinton were willing accomplices. As I stated, in August 2010, Obama signed PSD-11, which gave a government-wide reassessment of prospects for political reform in the Middle East and the Muslim Brotherhood's role in that process. Under PSD-11, Obama and Hillary pivoted from the historical U.S. strategy of maintaining order and stability in the Middle East and instead turned to a strategy emphasizing regime change regardless of the impacts on stability. U.S. officials did not concern themselves with questions over whether new power structures would become allies or foes. They disregarded intelligence warnings. They undermined a longtime ally, President Mubarak, and they had planned to do that 6 months before Obama gave that public address. This was not some conflagration of individuals in the Middle East seeking freedom, but rather organized for destruction. Here's a timeline. I call this a timeline of terror. This was initiated by the Obama administration. Here we have in 2010, Obama signs the directive. In January, the Muslim Brotherhood leads the revolution, the so-called Arab Spring in Egypt. February, Obama gives the speech you just saw. A little bit after that, about a week later, Muslim Brotherhood starts the revolution in Libya. And events unfold from there, leading directly to the attack in Benghazi.